Today's video, we're going to talk about maximize clicks versus manual CPC. But Google said it will get more clicks if I use maximize clicks, ... Okay? Absolutely it will. But if you do everything Google says that'll get you more clicks, you're going to be broke. Okay? That's the reality. One of the most common questions I get on this channel is, Corey, do you use manual CPC or maximize clicks? Or what do you start out with? The reality is I use manual bidding every single time I start a campaign. Not some of the time, all of the time. The reason for that is it's easier to get a campaign off the ground. And then eventually we'll switch over to smart bidding after we get so many conversions. That said, if you want to know the upside of using maximize clicks, because there is some, not much, I'm going to go through what those are on this particular video, and then the why manual bidding is actually better than our maximize clicks. And manual bidding is not just a little bit better, it's a whole lot better, okay? So this isn't a question, is like, maybe I should use it, maybe I shouldn't. No, use manual bidding, at least when you're doing it the way that I'm telling you, where you're maximizing the benefit of actually using manual bidding for your business. With that said, I'll get directly into the content after I announce who I am. If you don't know who I am, quickly, I am Corey Zyman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, an online advertising agency that specializes in guaranteeing results for their clients. That is, we do not charge our clients management fees until we can get them a certain minimum lift in their profitability, basically in excess of the management fees that we charge. We're the only agency out there who offers any kind of similar guarantees, which will tell you something about the quality of the information on this video. So with that said, getting into it. Now, I've got this separated out in terms of the pros and cons for maximize clicks versus manual clicks, manual CPC. So you understand why manual bidding is actually going to be better for yourself at the end of the day, using or utilizing that. Okay, starting with maximize clicks here. So first of all, maximize clicks is, it's directly in the name, maximize your clicks. Tons of clicks, okay? More outweighed by the negatives because it's similar to maximize clicks at the end of the day. In my opinion, it's just another backdoor way to convince you to use broad match or at least phrase match if you're using exact match now. It like hops up the match types one notch. So yes, you're gonna get more clicks. Problem is, it's not the clicks that you want or mostly want. There's little control over your investment. Handing over the keys to your wallet, just saying, hey, maximize my clicks, Google. Why would you want to be that lazy and just let them burn up your money because you don't want to set up a proper campaign structure? You spend a few hours setting up your campaign the right way, and you're not burning money forever after. It only makes logical sense. Now, that said, certainly you're going to get cheaper clicks from maximize clicks bidding strategy. Why? Because they're going to start to pull in the junk traffic that nobody wants or less people want. And it's harder to sell. So if you're targeting, let's say, kitchen remodeling services, they'll start having you show up for kitchen remodeling ideas. Well, obviously that's not worth much. Because that keyword's not worth nearly as much as kitchen remodeling services, and the competition's less, the cost per click is going to be less because Google still at the end of the day knows they can only charge so much per click before nobody wants the traffic at all. So they're going to charge less, and therefore your cost per click is going to go down on your keywords when you use maximize clicks. That's the heart of why your cost per click goes down. I see some really dumb bozos talking about, oh, use maximize clicks because it reduces your cost per click. Like, that's a good thing. I don't care if your cost per click's a penny a click. If the clicks do not convert, it's pointless. You know, you're still wasting a penny for nothing. Now, naturally, I would take the traffic at a penny. It's not a really great example of what I just described there. But, you know, they're going to be charging you a third of what you were charging before or half for traffic that's 10 times worse. And that's the reality. You're going to get the lowest quality traffic with maximized clicks, at least compared to manual CPC bidding with the strategy I'm going to talk about here in a second. So that goes over the main pros and cons of maximized clicks, if you will. The reason why maximize clicks is so popular is because people don't know how to utilize manual bidding, and it takes more effort than just setting it to, maximize clicks and then being done with it. Just like broad match, it's overutilized. People go right to broad match right away when they set up an account because it's easy, and they throw tons of money away, which I can tell you 70% of people advertising on Google Ads at any given time aren't making money, and they don't even know it, and they don't care. because they don't track the results and they just stick their head in the sand and they pretend like it's working because they don't want to overthink it. And when you got all those people willing to lose money, unless you're going to really do something monumental, you're going to lose money as well because they're bidding up the cost of that traffic a lot. So they'll just turn on broad match. And yes, it's easy. You put a few keywords in there, broad match, you're done. Okay? You can put maximize clicks on. Now you're done. But if you actually care about making a positive ROI, that's not the way to go. You want to put some more work in to set up things more precisely for your own company, if you will. There's a lot of misnomers that people talk about on YouTube and online about how to run successful Google ads, as well as ads on other platforms, of which if you take it for surface face value, you're not going to end up being successful running ads for your business. Your business is not going to grow. Why? Because you got content creators on this platform in particular who are trying to make money off of advertising revenue, selling bogus courses. They don't give a rat's ass whether you make any money or not. They don't give a rat's ass if it's even correct information. All they want to do is make it look really good with the production value. They know if it looks super slick and the information's false, they'll still make money, tons of it. The top guys aren't talking about the minutia about what makes the ads actually work and where you could be your competition. So if you want to learn from somebody actively doing the work in the weeds, 40 hours a week doing ad strategy is my sole job, subscribe to this channel because you're going to get exactly that on this channel. Furthermore, you should check out my blog on my site at guaranteeppc.com/blog. My blog has step-by-step advice on how to actually roll out the strategies we're using at our firm to guarantee our clients results as well, with screenshots, with everything. So find that at guaranteeppc.com/blog. And should I say, before I get back into the how to do the manual bidding so you get much more results than maximize clicks bidding strategy, if you have any questions about anything I'm talking about here, even dispute it, I'm fine with people disagreeing with me. I learn when people disagree with me itself. Leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or a comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours time. You could, by the way, ask me any marketing or ad-related question. I'm more than happy to get back to you just as a way of saying thank you for watching the channel itself. But getting into the manual CPC side of things now, here all together, you are going to have, with manual CPC, of course, less clicks. So that would be a con, not a pro technically. Less clicks, even though the less clicks are going to be, higher quality clicks like I was talking about before. But you're only going to get less clicks when you don't know the tricks as well. So you can still spend your full, because here's the thing. I notice most people use maximize clicks bidding strategy when they can't spend their budget. And they just go, that's like an easy fix. Ultimately, that's like a Band-Aid over the problem. The real problem is you're not setting your bids high enough with manual bidding, or your ads and landing pages suck and Google doesn't want to promote them because the users are seeing it, not interacting with it, or they're getting your site and they're bouncing at a high rate. And that's what needs to really be fixed, ultimately, at the end of the day. The trick of using manual CPC so you get your full budget spent itself and you don't have to go after shitty keywords or searches in order to spend it is to have your manual bidding and then just keep raising your manual bids until you spend your budget. It's really that simple, which is better than maximize clicks because you're going to get more clicks on what clicks actually matter. I'll actually have it on a brand new account, because usually, at least with the clients we work with, I'll suggest like $3,000 a month will be our monthly budget. Our goal is to get that working, make it profitable, then scale up our ad spend, which it basically should be for you as well. Pretty much same thing as that. We'll click on the campaign. If it's not spending $100 a day or $3,000 a month, we'll raise the keyword bids another 50% or 100%. And we'll check back in a few days. And if it's still not spending the full budget, we'll raise it again, another 50 to 100%. We'll keep doing that until we get the number of clicks that we want. And in a competitive market, that's really required because a lot of markets out there, there's 20 guys trying to advertise, jockeying for those 4 ad spots on the top of Google. And when you're new and unproven, you got to spend a shitload per click just to get Google to show your ad at all. And whereas the average person's going to say, I'll just switch it to manual, maximize clicks. You want to still show up for what you want to show up for. You just got to keep raising your bids to an astronomical amount so they still will be willing to show you. So you can offset your lack of history with higher bids. And to be honest, Google Keyword Planner can say that you have to pay, let's say in the kitchen remodeling space, $25 a click at the high end. The reality is in a competitive market, like a top 10 city for that, you're gonna have to start out paying $100 a click, at least with where your bid needs to be, in order to get any impressions. But then once you do that and you're now spending your full budget, then you can go to lower it to 90 again and then 80 and then walk it back down. There's no reason why to not get enough clicks if you just set your keyword bids high enough, which I know what you guys are thinking. It's, hey, Google's just gonna screw you over another way, which is charge you more for clicks that shouldn't be that expensive. And that is true, but you gotta get your shot with Google. If you can't get clicks, you can't get data. If you can't get data, Google can't give you a low cost per click. So it's either you spend the money up front to get exposure and tested by their platform, or you just never get going. So if that's your attitude, just quit, because there's no other really alternative there. And going after clicks that don't convert actually is not the right way to go, because why would you want to train the algorithm that decides if you should be shown a lot and up at the top of Google for most of your keywords? You'll train it the wrong way. You'll train it that your stuff doesn't work when really it just shows up for the wrong keywords. Versus show up for the right keywords, paying more per click. At least you'll be paying a lot up front, but at least once you started paying for a while, they'll see that your stuff gets high click-through rates and high conversion rates, and they'll get a positive signal about your company, your ads, your landing pages versus a negative one. Because you really need to break through that barrier for them to be able to want to actually show you more and actually show you for the people that count. Because even within keywords, kitchen remodeling contractor, there's 1,000 different people who search for that exact keyword. Whether your ad shows up for somebody searching for that or not depends on your ability to turn that user that searches for that into a lead and a sale, because that indicates you had a quality ad and landing page. If somebody comes through searching for that keyword that is a highly likely prospect to buy, they're going to show your competitors' ads that's been advertising for years and that they know have better ads and better landing pages than anybody else, because they want to encourage that guy to stay around as an advertiser, truly. Whereas you are probably going to be in expecting the world and then out in 90 days. They're not going to give you that placement in front of that home run type prospect that came through on Google searching for that. They're just not. So your cost per click's high as a kite starting out. Your conversion rate's, down in hell at the same time. There's no way to get out of that until you've actually set the right ads up and you've given it some time to actually get in front of the people that count, which is the right keywords. And then within the keywords, the people that actually buy, which they can tell who's going to buy based upon everything that person's done before they made that search, because they track every user all the time. So less clicks unless you bid more. Super high quality traffic. You're going to get shown for the terms you actually want. And for that matter, another mistake people make is they target a bunch of keywords when the reality is the near me terms are the best in a local service market. In a B2B context, it's services, companies, agencies, firms like that at the end of the keyword. You should be targeting that stuff first. And until you monetize that, you have no business going outside that general window of keywords. So you could do that with manual bidding and with a lot of negative keywords and an exact match keyword targeting. You can show up for the precise things that give you the most likely to buy prospect for you. And yes, the cost per click is going to be high, but it's still better than having a cheap cost per click and clicks that basically have very, very little chance of converting into a sale for you. More expensive CPCs, of course. You're going to pay a lot per click, but you get what you pay for. Higher conversion or closing rates. Conversion/closing rates. So the leads you do get are going to close at a higher rate because it came from a better quality prospect itself. And you're going to get more actual bona fide real leads as well. Because even though it's cost more per click, it's still better dollar for dollar for you to do that than do run your ads broadly and they're not the qualified prospects that you want. And for this last one, I want just to cap this off in terms of the strategy and the mindset you should have with all this. I want to say that I get it. A lot of this stuff is not only complicated, but it's time consuming. If you're going to beat your competition, you have to, guys that have legitimately spent millions of dollars in ad spend over years in your market to get to the ultimate place they're at, you're not going to be able to just take lightly what you're doing, spend an hour setting up your ads, and then boom, you've got a multi-million-dollar ad campaign for yourself. It's not that easy in a competitive market anyway. So you need somebody to set this up for you, and you need to know that they know what the hell they're doing. We can do this for you at guaranteeppc.com. Reach out to me if you want me to build you the campaign, and I can give you a guaranteed results along with it. I also have ad templates available. If we've worked in your niche market before, we can sell you the winning ads, landing pages, all of it that work for your niche market. you copy paste that into your ad account and get the same results we did with none of the work, time, money, hassle that we had to go through to find out it works. We've got 100 different niche markets we've been in. We can tell you the results you're going to get with it up front. So if you're in a different city or country that our client was in, you can use those. I also just have consulting and coaching available. If you are an agency that needs some help getting through something, or a business owner, I can get you, after asking you a few questions, tell you how to unstuck your results in terms of sales and profit, going through your ads, your landing pages, your tracking, all of it, and let you know what to do. Reach out to me at guaranteepppc.com if you're interested in that. Going back to what I was saying here, the best way to start out any campaign truly is with manual CPC. Start out with manual CPC with exact match keywords, and you bid as high as necessary to get shown for those keywords with a good quality setup itself on top of it, so that at least you know if you're going to pay through the nose to get some initial data with Google, you know you're for sure going to get your money back out of it, because once Google finally sees what you got, they're going to lay it on thick for you. The leading guy that was getting all the great business, you're now getting it, for that matter. You do exact match at first. If you make money there, then you could bring in your phrase match potentially. And I would recommend starting with just a few phrase match before doing all of them, particularly the 4 and 5 word phrase combinations. So, and if you go and do a Google search for your keywords, by the way, and you see they're not showing up, potentially that is an issue of where Google thinks you are, or whether you're a likely buyer or not. So don't judge whether you have to bid higher per click based upon you just not showing. You should show, particularly if you use a tool called isearchfrom.com and play around with that some. You may have to search a few times to see your ad show up, but usually you can have your ad show up that way to know if you should be bidding higher. But really, for me, I'm just going to take Google's data at face value. And if I don't spend my budget, I'm just going to bid higher until I finally see Google spending my full budget. And then once I have, if I wanted to stay with manual bidding forever, I would start lowering my budget 10% at a time until my cost per click is as low as possible while still spending my ad budget. The reality is, though, smart bidding in today's environment, 2025 and beyond, and it's been this way for several years now, you can't beat smart bidding with manual bidding. So you have to switch over to smart bidding at some point. Manual bidding is really just to get campaigns going until you have that first 30 or so conversions, then you're just going to switch over to smart bidding itself. If it takes a particularly long time to get conversions in your market, then maybe you switch over to smart bidding after like 10 conversions or 5 to 10. We do that occasionally itself. But yeah, that's the start to finish process in terms of bidding itself, how you handle it, how you manage it. The main thing I want to stress is you're better off going after high quality traffic, even though it's super expensive, because you want to train the algorithm on the setup that you've spent dear money to put together, or time and effort to put together, sees it for what it's worth, and then you get the reward of the lower cost per click, higher quality clicks, more clicks once that's said and done with. Not take the approach of, hey, I'm going to barely try with my setup of ad and landing page combination, and I'm going to use maximize clicks to force the clicks on this setup. Because at the end of the day, there's no gold at the end of the rainbow with that particular approach, unless you're in a market with very little competition. In that case, yeah, you might get by default. But if you're in a competitive market where there's 4 ads at the top of Google, like consistently, good luck. For that matter, if you are looking for, you don't really like agencies, you want somebody in-house that would just manage your stuff. A lot of guys do. The problem is it's really tricky, because somebody you hire in-house, at least after a while, ain't going to know anything about ads anymore, because when they just work on one account, they don't have that breadth of knowledge anymore. Our agency can serve as an in-house team, and we do that by partnering with companies, where we come in and say, hey, we'll give you ad money, we'll give you the techniques, everything we need to build your ads up the right way. And in exchange of that, you can call us anytime, you can do anything, but we want a share of your future revenue growth in your company. We'll invest in you, you invest in us by giving us 1 to 10% of your revenue growth moving forward at your company. We've invested in several companies like this recently, and they're all doing multi-million-dollar a year sales in addition to what they already have. We're making good money on those deals, looking to invest in more companies at this time. Companies basically that have the best product or service, but not the best advertising, and not in a hyper competitive, saturated market, I would say also to go along with that. That is, you may say, well, I have the best, bathtub installation company. Well, what do you do that makes it 10 times better than the competition? we're offer the best service. Well, that's not quite like what we're looking for. We're looking for unique off value propositions. You make what you have in the USA, basically nobody does. Have better packaging, more features, that kind of thing. Because at that point, legitimately, if you're not making millions of dollars, it's because you just don't have the right ad team on your team. And that's where we come in. So if you're interested in that, let me know at guaranteeppc.com. Also, if you're looking to talk to other guys and gals that watch this channel and where we're discussing things that we talk about on this channel, go to the Discord link that's in the video description. I'm in there answering questions. I also got a free advertising course that's there for you that I should be charging money for, that takes you from start to finish, how to build a campaign like we do it at our firm. You should check that out as well. With that said, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. If you want to see another video, click here. It is one of my best ones.